Some people have had these glimpses of no self or the non-existence of the me that I believe to be. And it's just this glimpse. It's not a liberating glimpse because there's a going back to believing in this me, the separate self, the limited self, the ego. Call it what you want. But there seems to be this going back. So this experience or this glimpse is just that. It's just a glimpse. It's just an experience. In that moment, it's freeing. But it feels like you doze back off into the dream. The dream of separation, the dream of me. Now, if you haven't had this experience, this glimpse, the taste of our true nature, then I invite you to join our next guidance, where we explore ourselves. So what typically follows is then these problems for the me. Well, what about my overwhelming thoughts? Or how about this feeling? Or what about my money problems? Or how am I going to work things out with my girlfriend? I'm moving. What about this? How about the kids? All of these questions and concerns arise. And it's as if you're back into this identification with being a separate self, the me that I believe to be. So very practical thing to do, something that's very powerful, is by just asking when these concerns and problems come up. Just ask the question, who cares? Who cares? And what it's designed to do is take you back to the glimpse. It's designed to recreate another glimpse. The power of seeing that there's actually not a me that's present, not a separate me that's present, not a separate me that has a bunch of problems and concerns. The problems and those concerns only exist for a separate me. So this is going to be the last thing that you would ever want to do. It's the simplest thing that you can do. It's just come back to that same discovery, the discovery that you had in our group guidance, the same discovery that was made in our exploration, come back to that. Discover it again, over and over. Because this me requires the belief in it. And by continually seeing that there is no me, this belief starts fading. It starts dissolving. Now, what else starts dissolving and fading is the problems, are these concerns. So when you experience these problems, the fears, the concerns, the drama, the conflict, all of that, just ask yourself, who cares? But don't dismiss it. It's not a who cares like you're dismissing it. It's who cares, which takes you to the discovery. Look for who is it that cares about these problems? Who is it that cares about the future? And by coming to that discovery, once again, what remains is peace. Because all of these problems are created. They stem from this one belief, this belief in being a separate me. So who cares? Takes you right to, I can't find this me. No me, no problem. And the who cares that starts the exploration basically becomes this, who cares? It's like a carefree, who cares? These problems just dissolve. There's no substance to these concerns. So it's a very simple and powerful practice. Otherwise, this initial glimpse, it's like a one-off. But this glimpse has revealed something. It's not really revealed anything. It's revealed that there isn't something. It's a revelation of no-thing. The me is something. And as long as there's the belief in the me, then there appears to be something that has a problem. Check it out for yourself. Don't just stop at the belief. The belief is the obstacle. The belief is what prevents you from exploring. In fact, someone actually just said today something like, well, I've always assumed that the me is here. That my name, that I refer to myself as, it's obvious. Why would I look? Why would I explore? But see, those are just thoughts. Those thoughts are distractions. They're kind of like sending you away. Don't look here. Basically, that's what those thoughts say. Who cares is an invitation to explore, discover that there is no one here who has a problem, who has concerns. There's no one here that's suffering. There's no one here that's fill in the blank. But the thoughts will always be these assumptions, these conclusions. See, I want you to start the exploration. Start the journey. Start the exploration. You have to be open to looking. What is a conclusion? To conclude means to end. The thoughts end the exploration before it even starts, meaning it prevents you from exploring the truth. So these thoughts that come very quickly, oh no, you don't need to look. It's all right. Just continue worrying about the problems and the concerns. Continue experiencing the suffering. Instead of exploring for yourself. That all of these things, the problems, the concerns, the worries, the suffering, it all depends on this me that I believe to be. So the who cares is an invitation to explore. You go looking for the one that has the problems and you only find peace. You go looking for the one that's suffering, you only find happiness. You go looking for the one that's limited, you only find freedom. But you won't discover this unless you explore. These assumptions, these conclusions, it's like a bluff. It feels like there's some weight. It feels like, yeah, but I already know that. Yeah, I've heard that. Especially if you're into these like spiritual teachings and non-duality and enlightenment. If this is your thing, you've been into this. It's this, I think I know. It's not that I know, it's I think I know. That even when I bring up this invitation to explore for yourself experientially, because that's what's missing. Most people say, I understand this intellectually, but not experientially. That's why I choose to talk about this in the form of it's an exploration. There's guidance to explore our true nature. We're not studying. I'm not some textbook teacher. You have to let go of everything that you've known. You start at ground zero. I don't know. So there's no assumptions, there's no conclusions. I don't know, but I want to know. Well, let's start right there. Who wants to know? That'd be the first place to start. Who is it that wants to know? Start there. What you'll see is you won't just stop at the intellectual understanding. Which is like false knowledge. You'll shift from the intellectual understanding to experiential understanding. The experiential understanding is true knowledge, self-knowledge. Self-knowledge because you are experiencing yourself. You're not experiencing words that someone else has regurgitated or read from a book. You're looking for yourself. It's funny because that's usually what people say. Get a lot of messages like that. I'm understanding this intellectually, but something's missing. Literally, that's what people say. Yeah, what's missing is the experience. Why is that? Because you're not experiencing. You're not exploring. You're opting out of the exploration. And it's so subtle because it's these thoughts that say like, I assume this, or like, I think I already know this, or like, I don't really need to check. It's so like innocent, these thoughts. But what it is it's actually the resistance to go explore. It's something that's preventing, these thoughts are actually preventing the exploration. Why? Well, because you're going to discover that there's not anything there behind those thoughts. There's not actually a separate me. There is no ego. The ego doesn't exist. It's not a separate entity. It's an activity. And this activity is appearing as these resistant thoughts, these thoughts that are resistance to the truth. The truth that you are not suffering, that you are already free, that what you truly are is not unhappy. You are happiness. The truth that what you are is not separate from anything. You are everything. The truth that you are not limited. You are limitless. So without that exploration, it won't be experiential. That's why I say it's an experiential exploration. And it's up to you to explore. So it's an invitation. If you are open to exploring, I invite you to our next guidance, and let's explore. Let's discover the happiness, the love, the peace, the freedom that you are. Hopefully this helps. See you in the next one.